When my dog died last year, I went back through the pictures because I missed him. And one of the things that initially annoyed me was that there were things I could remember that I hadn't photographed, and there were things I wanted to have photographed that I didn't. Some of it is because they were things that we only did for a period of time. When I first bought my house, we used to sit on the couch in the downstairs family room in the back while I ate dinner and watched TV. There were two reasons why we did this. Number one, I didn't have a dining room table yet. So the only place to eat where there was a table while I watched TV was on that couch, where there was an end table there that I inherited from my great-grandmother. And I would put my food on that, and then I could sit on the couch and eat. The second reason was that was my only TV. It was one of those gargantuan, and I still have it, the ones that weigh like 200 pounds. It was my only TV, so if I wanted to watch TV, it was there. And we would eat, and because the table was low enough, he would try and steal food off of it, and I'd have to yell at him. But we'd sit there and hang out, him in the wicker recliner right next to me. Sometimes I'd fall asleep on that couch there, and he'd fall asleep in the chair next to me. But I'd reach over the side sometimes and scratch his neck and say hi. And one of the reasons I don't have pictures of that is because every time I would get up to go get the camera, he would get down and negate the reason for having a picture. And then I got a new TV in, I guess it was November 2012, and I started watching TV in that room instead. And so we never went back to that room because I no longer needed to. Or by then I also had a dining room table. I got that in November of 2011. So things changed, and so we never went back to it. It was something that we only really did for about a year. But we did it a lot, and I remember it, and I miss it. And I wish I could go back and revisit it just in my mind, because I know eventually my ability to recollect those things will go away. The other reason that I didn't take pictures is because I was busy trying to get a relationship. And I used to berate myself. I've been berating myself for a year about not capturing those moments, because they were things I remember well, and I want to be able to retain in remembrance. In the last month or so, I realized, though, that one of the great things that my dog gave me as a gift was he taught me how to live in the moment. And so, although it is wonderful that I wanted to capture those things, that I did capture many of them, sometimes I just enjoyed being with him. One of the great things about dogs is I think they almost always live in the moment. Like, they remember things, but they forget so many things. When I first bought my house, I would talk to my parents about the things I was learning from my dog, about patience, forgiveness, and unconditional love. And I think part of that is because dogs don't remember those things. They live in the moment. They don't hold it against you that you didn't take them for a walk today. They're elated tomorrow when you take them. That, all right, today we get to go. They live in the moment, and I learned to live in, love, and appreciate those moments. Sometimes I was also able to photograph them. One of the ones I'm most proud of is I would come in through the door, and he would, until he went deaf in 2017, he would come to the top of the stairs and stand at the top and look down at me. And I told myself for like a year, you need to come through the door with the camera in hand, because as soon as he saw me, he'd race down the stairs to come and see me. And so I finally was able to capture him at the top of the stairs in July of 2017. That's the best one. I have a few others, but not very many. And then basically after I got a good one, I stopped because I caught it and I didn't need to do it anymore. But he taught me to live in the moment. There are so many things we miss out on when we're not enjoying where we are, when we're insistent on capturing it and preserving it. My dad got cheated out of a lot of family experiences because he was always expected to be the photographer. In fact, we joke that there are almost no pictures of my dad except until we started taking pictures. And then we have this family meme that we do about every time Dad falls asleep, we take a photo of him, because it's just funny. I don't know why. It's some trope that we find entertaining. And so most of the pictures we have of my dad are of either him working on projects or sleep. And because that's what Dad does. He works hard and then he rests hard. So, but he had to be the photographer. And so he was capturing the memories for us, and he wasn't part of them as much as we were. And I'm grateful for the photos and the ability to go back and remember. I I wasn't a social media person. I didn't post them up, and I have hundreds and maybe thousands of photos of my dog, but mostly from the time he was 12 or 13 onward, because up until then, he was too fast or too mobile. He wouldn't sit still, or it was him sleeping somewhere. And I wish I could remember some things, but I do remember them, and I don't need the photos. And for the moment, I was in the moment with him, and I'm glad of that, because that's what he enjoyed. He was never going to go back through photos. I don't even know if dogs can see what's going on TV, watch videos, if they know what a photo is, if they know what even their reflection is. I don't know if that matters to them, or if they recognize, or even if they can see it. I've never been a dog. Never looked through their eyes. And so those were not things that were valuable to him. What was valuable to him was my attention. And I tried in his last months to pay as much attention as I could, to do what I could to make his last days, weeks, and months as good as I could, as memorable for me, because I would still be there. But I wanted to make them worth sticking around for him, so that the pain and the struggle after he hurt himself in recovery, and then fighting against cancer at the end, that the days were worth the pain he had to endure, because he took every day one at a time. And it's one of the great things about my dog that I miss and that I appreciate. The only other time in my life I learned to live in the moment was when I went to Alaska. And I stood at this glacier, and I didn't have anyone there. I was just burning, 4 or 5 hours till the next flight came, because somehow my luggage didn't make it. My luggage got off the plane in LA and didn't make it back onto the same plane, because that makes sense. So I had to wait for it. But I waited at this glacier, and I have no idea how long I was there, but I only left because this other couple showed up, and all of a sudden I was no longer out of time, because there were other people there and they disrupted it. But my beagle taught me to enjoy the moment, to live in the moment. Most people use that as an excuse to not plan stuff or commit to things. Dogs don't do that anyway. So them living in the moment was totally, totally unselfish, and totally without any secondary ulterior motives. He just was enjoying being with me, and I enjoyed being with him. Like I said, I wish I had pictures of things. I taught him to rise up on his back legs. I never captured that. I never got it to capture him smiling. I only have one video of him tearing around full speed in the backyard. I don't have any videos of him running down the stairs. There are a few things I wish I had, but I remember them, and I remember him, and as long as I remember them, he's never really dead. Because I know that when I'm gone, it's very likely that the pictures and the videos won't matter to anybody. One of the saddest things that dawned on me this week is that no one I care about moving forward in my life will ever know him or understand what he meant to me, because pictures and videos do not convey that. They do not convey anything. I mean, if you watch my face in this, you can tell he meant a lot to me, but you'll never really understand without having met him. Moving forward in my life, no one I care about will ever know why I cared about him. Not really. If they've had a dog, maybe they'll empathize, but no one will really understand just how special and amazing he truly was. For the moment, I have pictures all over the house. I thought it was funny that after I finished remodeling my house this year, the first pictures and the only pictures that I've rehung downstairs after I painted were pictures of my dog. I enjoyed having him there. I enjoyed those moments. I lived in those moments, and I lived for those moments. And I wonder if they're more valuable to me because I was present for them and participating in them, rather than observing them and photographing them. Naturally, you want to photograph things that are important. I get that. I do too. You want to be able to remember them, think back on them. And sometimes they trigger things. Everyone hates the Nickelback song, Photograph. Well, everyone hates Nickelback, but Photograph seems to be a song that people don't hate as much, because we can empathize with what he says about thinking back on other times and remembering the good times and the better times with those who mattered to us. So if you have people in your life who matter to you, if someone is special, someone that you love, even if it's just a dog, treasure the moments, capture a few, enjoy them, and be present for them, because one day you will wish that you had more of them. And you'll be glad of the time that you spent. No friend I've ever had or girl I've ever dated turned out to be worth my time in the long run. I learned things from them all, but I don't regret any of the time I spent on or with my dog. And sometimes I wish that I could have taken the time I wasted on those people and spent it with him instead, because doing nothing on a Sunday afternoon with him was not boring and was not worthless. It was like being back in Eden, even if only for a short while. And I was at peace, and I was happy, and I had joy, and I had love, and it was amazing. His last 2 years were the best 2 years of my life so far. Hopefully I'll still have good years left in me, but I'm grateful for those 2 years. They were truly a blessing. If you have people who are a blessing in your life, especially as we get close to Father's Day, if your father is awesome, it doesn't appear much in your photos, get some photos of him where he's not sleeping or working, because good dads are awesome. Good friends are awesome. Everyone we love is a blessing if they love us back. So treasure those that you love. Godspeed. Take care of yourselves and each other.